Hello and welcome to another episode of Ascension Talk with Ariella. A very, very warm welcome to you. So my name is Ariella Indigo. I am an oracle and I'm an Ascension Catalyst. I'm really here helping people on their evolutionary journeys, helping people on their mythical quest, their sacred request to I think we've all probably made those requests at times. I know that I definitely have, you know, universe, please beam me up into my highest possible potential. So that's what I'm doing in the world. I'm really helping to illuminate people's path, helping to activate their divine gifts and really helping people to emerge into their highest possible potential. Welcome if you are just joining me on the live. Welcome Caroline, welcome Sylvia, welcome Christiana. Great to see you guys here. Do you like my new mug, by the way? My witch mug. Well, check this out. It says witch on one side and it says wizard on the other, which I think is pretty cool. Ethan and I both have these mugs. So yeah, we got them in Glastonbury, of course. I live in Glastonbury, or just down the road from Glastonbury, if you didn't already know that, in the UK. And I'm loving my witch mug at the moment, seeing as I am a magical practitioner and a magical being. And today I'm on this cleanse at the moment. I'm on an amazing Ayurvedic cleanse. And so I'm drinking a lot of this cumin tea, fennel tea, ginger tea, and it's really balancing to my dosha. I think that's the word that they call it, right? It's really balancing to my dosha. So I'm drinking a lot of it. So welcome to everybody who is just joining. Sylvia likes my mug. Cheers, Sylvia. Me too. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the interesting topic of acceptance versus action. So I've got some sharings for you on that. Before we dive into that, I just want to also give a shout out to my 5-day revelation challenge, which starts next week on Monday. It's my Crack Your Creation Code challenge. And it will indeed help you to go very, very deep inside yourself, diving down underneath those waters of revelation to find the gifts, to find the gold that you most need to know about at the moment, to help to bring you into alignment so that you can know why you're here, what your gifts are, what your purpose is. All of those questions, we're going to be very much going down the rabbit hole with all of that next week. So do sign up if you haven't already done that. I've put the link up here on the live stream. As I say, Monday, that will be going live. And I guess I'm sort of playing a little bit of the role of Morpheus from the Matrix in the world with you, where I'm really asking, and for those of you who sign up, you are taking the red pill, definitely. You are going to go very, very deep inside yourself and find out lots of revelation. So take the red pill with me on Monday. I loved your hearts and your thumbs up then. And, you know, really, you know, we're going to get some big questions answered, right? We're really setting that intention to get some big questions answered. So do sign up for that. It's going to be a lot of fun and very deep, very revealing at the same time. A shift in consciousness can change everything. You know, a brand new direction comes about. Like, it's, you know, our focus point, what we know about ourselves, what we understand about ourselves is the place that we create from. So, you know, let's dive deep into those watery depths of revelation and really discover who we are and why we're here. So today, yes, acceptance versus action. So the reason that I wanted to do this sharing today is because I really have noticed in my own journey and also externally in the spiritual community that there seems to be, or just in different communities, right? There seems to be one school of thought almost, which is all about acceptance. That's more of a spiritual mindset. And there seems to be this other school of thought, maybe in like other communities, right? Other physical communities, business communities, definitely, maybe fitness communities, more mainstream communities actually, which is all about action. Like, that's how you create your results. So, and I've really been in both worlds, and I've had the experience in my own journey where I've been quite extremely like in both worlds, like at different times. So for a period of time, I found myself very much in the world of action, right? Particularly when I was growing up, you know, having kind of more, how should I describe it? Like 3D parents, right? Like non-spiritual parents, a dad who was an entrepreneur, growing up just in like normal kind of world, right? Which everybody tells you you've got to put in the action in order to get the results. So I've been very extremely in that world. And as some of you know, I was in corporate for 16 years and I did create a lot of results. So very much in that world. And then I've also been very much in like the other extreme where it's all been about acceptance. So for me, I've been talking about this a lot recently. So I don't know, it's obviously, it's my time to share more about it with you. That's when I went into addiction recovery when I was 29, when I really rock bottomed during my Saturn returns, and I went into addiction recovery, AA. And you know, there's a saying in AA which is acceptance is the answer, and they talk a lot about this. So AA, the 12-step fellowship, for those of you that don't know, is a spiritual program. It's based on 12 steps, and I definitely believe that that Bill, Dr. Bill, is that right, Dr. Bill, or is it Dr. Bob? Bill and Bob. I can't remember now because it's a while since I was in the community, but yeah, Dr. Bill, I think that's right. Who created or channeled the system. I really believe that he was a channel, you know, so very much about acceptance. So I find myself now, because I'm not in that fellowship now, but I'm very grateful for being in it for the time that I was. I find myself now to be straddled really in both camps. I can really see the benefits of both. And I actually believe that we need both acceptance and both action in our lives. And for me, the place that I've come to is, I believe whether it's something that you need to accept or whether it's something you need to take action on, really depends on where you are in your soul cycle. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So what do I mean by soul cycle? So it really depends on where you are in your personal evolutionary journey. And there's a few incredible esoteric channeled systems that I love to work with. One is the incredible Hebrew soul purpose system, which I'm now teaching in the world. And there are various oracles. Some of you might be watching this who are training with me, who are training to do soul blueprint readings for other people. So it's really by activating your soul blueprint, the gifts contained in your soul blueprint. And when you sign up to my 5-day challenge next week, you're going to understand your soul profile in much more detail. So it's a combination of that, and also the other system which I love to work with is numerology. And I'm particularly tapped into, and the kind of area which I think is incredible with numerology is the personal years. So for those of you who don't know what personal year you're in at the moment, I'm going to give you the calculation now. It's really simple. And also, if you wanted to, you could go to my blog, and I've written a blog post about it, and I've given you some understandings of what the different years mean. So how to calculate the personal year that you're in is you add the day and the month that you were born, and then you add it to the universal year that we're in. So I'm going to give you an example now, and I'll use my birthday as an example. I was born on the 8th of August. Don't worry about the year for this. You don't need your year of birth to calculate it. So the 8th of August would be 8 plus 8, so 16 in my case. And then you add it to the universal year that we're currently in. So in 2019, this is a 3 universal year, because you add the numbers up individually. So the 2, the 2, the 1, and the 9. Okay, so that comes to what? 12, and then 1 and 2 is the 3. So you always reduce it down to a single digit. unless it's a master number, right, which is 11, 22, 33. So let me give you another example. Let's say that your birthday was on the 3rd of June. So it would be 3 plus the 6, which is 9, and then you add that to the 3, 12. So then 1 and 2 together. So you would be in a personal year 3. So go to my blog post if you'd like some more information about that, because it does give you some information on each one of the personal years. But each year has distinct themes, like really distinct themes. And it's like incredible to see how much your reality shifts from one year to the next and how accurate these personal years are. So your personal years are really, how I would describe it is they are the energetic landscape, or the energetic foundation of your experiences, of what your soul is wanting you to experience in that year. So as an example, and let's use the number 3 because we're all in a universal 3 year. So you have your personal years. So we're all in different personal years depending on what the birth date is. But then we're all in this universal 3 year in 2019. 2020 will be a universal 4 year. It's a calendar year, January the 1st to December the 31st. So the 3 vibration, and actually I love the 3 vibration. I'm in a 3 month at the moment. We're not going to go into months, that's something else, but and I'm loving it. It's a really fun vibration, actually. It's quite a light energy. And it's also very much about expansion, soul expansion. So you will create, and if you think about your life at the moment, you can probably see it in this year, right? Because we're all in this universal 3 year. The 3 is wanting you to expand your horizons, grow. You will often feel like you're being stretched in a year 3. So just let me know, put a thumbs up or a comment if you can see these themes, right, in your life this year. So often you can feel like you're being stretched. You might feel as if you're being tested by the universe. You're expanding in certain ways. Expansion and also creative expression. Okay, so the 3 is very much about creative expression. So when we're in a 3 vibration, often we are being asked to step out, stand out, share our truth, speak our minds, like share our dreams, like be vulnerable, right? Be vulnerable and speak out and express our truths. So it could be, like at the moment, here I am and I'm doing these live streams. So interesting, right? Ascension Talk with Ariella was launched in a 3 year. Of course, it makes sense. So yeah, self-expression, as I say, can be sort of a very fun, a light vibration as well, being a bit more social or a lot more social in the 3 vibration. But expansion and self-expression, big time. So there are certain cycles, right, where we're in flow, right? We're in flow to do certain things, which is more kind of like the acceptance piece, right? The feminine piece. And then there's more cycles where we're being asked to really like push out, take action, go big. So as an example, I personally am in a 1 year at the moment. And it's very much an action-packed year. I mean, the 1 year, it's like a whole new energy decade, right? So you are building the foundations for the next 9 years in your 1 year. And the only thing that you can bank on in your 1 year is that everything's going to change. Right? That's pretty much the only thing that you can bank on. You won't know at the start of the year exactly what's going to change, but you'll just know that everything's going to change. You're in a brand new cycle. It's more of a masculine energy, so it's more action oriented, like going out in the world, creating, right? It's all about new creation, new beginnings, new creation, leadership, independence, all of these things are part of the one. So the reason that I'm sharing this with you in respects to acceptance versus action is because I'm seeing something really interesting happening at this stage in my one cycle, which is interesting for me, but it's also a sharing for you because it applies to us all. There are things that I created, or I started to create 3 years ago. So particularly at the back end of my 7 year, right? And this is the case where always when you're at this stage in your one cycle, it's like the loose ends are being tied up. So there are things that I've created. And if you think about it in your life as well, doesn't matter about where you were in your cycle, but think back to a time where you felt really intuitively guided to create something new. Could have been like you started to try and write a book, for example. You know, you felt really inspired to create something new, a new project, something creative, right? That your heart and your soul was in it. You spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, and it didn't work, right? It didn't work at the time. Now that is the important point. So 3 years ago, I felt incredibly drawn, guided, motivated, inspired to start creating what was at that point my first ever group online program, and it was called Road to Revelation, all right, which, you know, I thought was a great title, and I felt super inspired, and I thought there was going to be like loads and loads of people that were attracted to join it. And I spent ages, you know, I was still living in the caravan back then, so I spent ages in the caravan, like, you know, preparing all of this, creating all of this stuff, basically, like structuring the whole program, doing lots of videos, writing loads of material. I mean, it really came from my heart, and it was like, it felt so in alignment, right? It felt so right. I felt so inspired. And I thought, you know, it's because it feels so right. It's, you know, it's going to be a success, right? It's going to be amazing in whatever way. And the reality was, it wasn't the success that I thought it was going to be. You know, it didn't attract the number of people that I thought it was going to attract. And it didn't have like the result that I thought it was going to have. It actually created other incredible results in other ways, but it wasn't in the way that I was hoping. And I like did loads and loads of work around that. And then I did loads of work around other stuff as well. In fact, one of the things, seeing as we're talking about it, is my 5-day challenge. This was actually initially created 3 years ago. I haven't done it yet. I did it to a small group, but it was different. It was different, and it wasn't the structure that I'm doing now. So, you know, but I felt really inspired to create it. And it was after I did Road to Revelation, which didn't work as it was like a flop, really. I mean, to be honest, it was like, in terms of what my expectations were for it, it was a flop. It was a failure. And it was like, oh my God, you know, when something has come from your heart and you've spent like ages with it, right? And it's like your best creation, and you send it out to the world and it doesn't get received. And in fact, like, it fails. That can feel crushing, you know, that your best creations rejected. Oh my God. And if you've got wounding around rejection and abandonment, it's like, whoa, which of course is why you're creating that experience. Let me know, by the way, put a thumbs up or put any comments if you've had a similar experience where you spent a long time creating something that you thought was going to be awesome and it was like a flop, it was a failure. Tell me about your story, or send a thumbs up. And if you send the thumbs up, by the way, then I know that you're interacting and this is landing with you. So it helps me to see it on the screen. So what I'm seeing now, where I am in my 1 year, is all of these loose ends, right, are being tied up. All of these loose ends are being tied up because there's no way now that my mission has taken off and a new direction came in, right? Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way. And I love those. you know, a new direction came in, right, 3 years ago that took me in a different direction, which is why I didn't do the 5-day challenge. But what I'm seeing now is like, if I hadn't have created it back then, when I had more time in the caravan than I do now that my mission's taken off, I would never be able to do it now, right? A lot of the material that I created back then in the caravan for Road to Revelation, for my 5-day challenge, all of it is coming back together now for me. It was now that it was for. It was now that it needed to be used. So the point of me in sharing this with you is, well, firstly, don't give up on your creations. You know, when you feel that inspiration and your guidance is telling you to take action, right? Because this is what we're talking about, action versus acceptance. And your guidance is really, and you're feeling inspired, and it's like, yeah, go and create. Trust that, right? Trust that. And if it doesn't work out when you thought it was going to work out, like, manage your mindset around that, manage your mind, you know, because you're going to feel like me. Initially, I was like, well, this is a failure. And I remember being in my caravan, like raging at spirit. Have you ever had that experience when you've raged at spirit? And I was like, well, you know, this is it. I've left corporate. I've risked everything. I've made all of these sacrifices. You know, I'm wanting to tell the whole world like how much more abundant and aligned path can be, a spiritual aligned path can be. And here I am, you know, bankrupt in my caravan. And for me, in my head, it was like, well, this is my last attempt, you know, before I'm going to have to go back into the old world, back into corporate, which I was just absolutely, you know, the thought of that was just horrendous for me. So I was raging at spirit, because it's like, well, that's it now, you know, that's it. It's all to waste. And of course, you know, it was just stretching me. It was just stretching me into that place of having true faith and detaching from my own expectations and trusting in that guidance. Like, I was right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was right to create what I created when I created it. I was interpreting that information correctly. It just wasn't for then. Like, that was the start, and those pieces needed to be in place, and I needed to learn the skills, and I needed to have various content in place, because I've now been on a journey over the past 3 years where the universe has just been stepping me deeper and deeper and deeper into my purpose, so that I can actually show up for you guys next week, and we're going to have like a really, really amazing 5-day Crack Your Creation Code challenge together, much more amazing than if I'd have tried to do it 3 years ago, because I've evolved since then, you know. So I think this is just such, it has been such an interesting lesson for me around acceptance, divine timing, you know, divine alignment, and has taken me deeper into a place of trust and faith in my own guidance. You know, because I think we've probably all had that experience, right, where we feel like we've trusted our guide, we have listened to our guidance, you know, because in the past we haven't, right? Like, all of us have had those experiences where we haven't listened, but now we are listening, we are trusting, we are taking aligned action, yeah, aligned with our guidance, with what we know about ourselves. You know, we've done these, like, a lot of us have gone very deeply into ourselves. We know ourselves quite well, so we feel that we're taking these aligned actions. But then it's like, oh, well, it's not worked out the way that I thought it would. Sometimes it does, right? Sometimes it does, and sometimes it works out even better, and sometimes it doesn't. And it's like, that's the test. You know, that is the test. Are you going to abandon yourself again, or reject yourself and your own creations and your own guidance, you know, and beat yourself up for being wrong, or I must have got that wrong, right? Or are you going to stay in that place of trust, of acceptance in everything that you are creating, in the flow of your creations, you know, and trust that when it gets to the right time, divine timing, then it will make sense. So let me know in the comments below what your stories are on this. So have you got a story of divine alignment, like a story of, you know, when something surprised you, right? Because this has surprised me. I'm like, wow, the divine perfection of like the last 3 years is just, I'm really, really seeing it. You know, it's incredible how perfect all of these creations are. So I would love to, I'd love to hear your stories, maybe a story of something that failed for you. And then, you know, later on when you tried it again, it was the right time, right? And you needed to have that experience for whatever reason. So let me come to the comments now. Okay, so Gigi is saying, my birthday is February the 22nd. How would you calculate this? So yeah, so you would say number 2 for February plus the 2, so you've got the 22nd, so it's actually 2 plus 2 plus 2 for you. So 6, and then you add it on to the universal year 3. So you are in a year 9 this year, Gigi. And year 9, celebrate your year 9, because you have done a huge amount of work to get here over the past 9 years. So this is, and you're finishing up your year 9 now. So a lot about releasing the energy to make way for the new energy coming in the next cycle, which is, it's your 1 year next year. So this is a heads up for you, Gigi. Check out like definitely October, November time in your year 1 and see whether you can see those loose ends being tied up as well from your previous 3 years. Yes, thank you, Robin. You are a 9, Gigi. So Catherine is saying, Catherine Metcalf Hernquist. Oh, I love your name, Catherine. That is a very nice name indeed. You started some things in 2012 that didn't go. Yeah. Yeah. Caroline is saying no failure. Yes, no failure. Only experience. Only experience. Caroline Manzo, never have raged at spirit. And you've got a little a laughing face there. So I think we possibly all had those times, right, where it's like, spirit, you have forsaken me. You know, we all feel a bit like that at times, these tests that we set up for ourselves. Trust in divine timing. Yes, absolutely. Leona Billy, Joe Greedy. Yep, relate. I think you've tagged Joe Greedy there, maybe. After 30 years in hospitality, this year finally decided to change direction, started a care course, was told 3 months. Now, 9 months later, still ongoing. There's been blocks. Yeah. So you had, yeah, a long time there in your career. So you changed direction and you started a care course, but there's been some blocks, right? Some stuff slowing you down, which I think is what you're saying. And yeah, I mean, that can be the case, right? And I totally get this in my own reality as well. These new ideas, these inspirations can drop in, and we're going to go in a new direction. And that's it. Like, we've had the idea, we've had the inspiration. We want to be over there overnight, right? And for us, particularly like the psychics, the intuitives, the sensitives, you know, the ones of us who come from these higher dimensions where time really is an illusion and things manifest a hell of a lot faster than they do on the physical plane. It's like, it's an absolute gutter, right? It can feel like an absolute gutter at times because, you know, we've had the idea, we want to go there, and it's like, oh, yeah, didn't realize it was going to take me like 2.5 years, you know, 3 years or whatever it was, right? In order to get there, 3 years in my case, with what I was intending to put out there. Natalia, I'm at the same stage where you were 3 years ago. I'm in my year 8 or 9 when my mantra circle fell apart. Yeah, I thought that was it. No singing, no joy. No, I'm no doing this anymore. Yeah. So many of us, right, have had this experience where we've really felt excited, really felt cool to put stuff into place, and then it doesn't work out. we just, yeah, I just invite us all to deepen into that place of trust today. You know, there are all of these creations, they are for, you know, they're for good reasons, right? Even if it's just like you needed to learn some skills at that time, that wasn't the time where it was necessarily going to be attracting lots of people, but you were going through a necessary process in order to learn those skills, and you need to go through it now, because in 2 years' time you're going to be too busy, or there's going to be something else, right? So really trusting in the way that we're creating. Robin's saying it's actually helping me to be more accepting of what others are wanting, rather than what I am thinking they want in that particular moment. Yes, really all about not taking it personally. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, accepting what others want as opposed to what we want for them can be a big lesson for us all. But yeah, I think other people prefer it as well when we do that. Things are shifting so much, so fast. I totally get what you're saying. What used to work just doesn't work so much. Yeah, that can often be the case, right? You know, what worked before doesn't work anymore. And that's because there's a new direction coming on. There's new action. There's a new way that we're supposed to be heading in. Spirit has been totally guiding me lately to be very present with my guidance. Good. Yeah, that is absolutely the key for all of us. You know, really being connected and following our guidance. Lately, I have no idea what someone is calling to receive guidance on, but Spirit has been giving me answers before I know who it's for. That's very cool. I'm also having to trust that what I am getting is for someone, but not sure who until it gets revealed. Yes, absolutely. So the incredible journey of trusting our intuition. And this is really what this live stream's been about, hasn't it? You know, trusting our intuition, because what we feel, the action that we feel inspired to take, or the acceptance that we feel inspired to make in any moment, because there was a deep acceptance that I needed to find, you know, 3 years ago at this time, where, you know, there was this like huge failure in my life. So I thought, you know, I couldn't change direction until I accepted that. I let go of it and then moved on. So yeah, trusting in your guidance, very, very, very important for all of us. And then not self-rejecting, not calling ourselves, not making ourselves wrong, not making our guidance wrong, because when we're raging at our guides, we're really raging at our guidance. And, you know, just knowing that the bigger picture, you know, things are happening really, really in divine perfection, really are. So yeah, that's great. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for being here with me live. I will leave it there today, but I will be back with you next Thursday for Ascension Talk with Ariella. So that is Thursday the 21st at 4 p.m. again, UK. Please put it in your diaries. And then, as I say, Monday, the 18th of November, I'm going to be like Morpheus, offering you the red pill or the blue pill. I'm hoping that you're going to be taking the red pill and coming on a journey with me starting from Monday. You'll be getting an email from me each day with the contents that you need. There's clue sheets, there's a sacred assignment for each day, there's a micro training from me, just bite-sized training to really help you and hold space for you as you're going into this journey inside of yourself to find these deep revelations. So you need to sign up in order to receive those emails, but the actual live streams themselves will be in this group. So it's awesome that for you guys who are joining me live, you're already in the group. And I'm going to be live streaming at 2 p.m. every day next week for the Crack Your Creation Code challenge, and giving you one revelation per day. So also put that in your diaries, and then we can connect live. You can ask me your questions live, and I can support you to find those valuable insights even live as well. So really looking forward to that, and thank you again for joining me today. Much love. Mwah. See you all next week.